Jasmine Pineda is gone. She packed her bags, boarded a plane, and left America forever, leaving fans, co-stars, and even Gino Palazzolo reeling in disbelief. One moment she was at the center of TLC's drama-filled spotlight. The next she vanished like a storm passing over, leaving behind heartbreak, confusion, and a trail of unanswered questions. Her departure wasn't quiet, it was seismic, and the shockwaves are still rippling through the 90-day Fiancé universe. Jessica here from Reality Spots. Welcome. Make sure you hit subscribe because you do not want to miss the twists and revelations we're about to uncover. Drop a comment right now if you think TLC pushed her too far. Because things get messier than most viewers imagine, fans were stunned. Social media exploded. Gino, standing in Michigan, was reportedly scrolling through his phone, holding back tears, unsure how the woman he loved could disappear without a hint. TLC, meanwhile, seemed caught off guard, scrambling to adjust promos and cover the story with vague explanations. But behind the chaos, insiders suggest a more complicated drama was brewing. One involving money, control, and the kind of manipulation that can leave even the strongest people questioning their own reality. So why did Jasmine walk away so abruptly? What drove her to leave not just a show, but an entire country, friends, and career opportunities behind? Allegedly, it wasn't a single moment of frustration. It was years of pressure, emotional distortion, and an eye-opening financial betrayal. TLC, the very network that built her fame, reportedly profited from her image in ways she never saw. Contracts, branded deals, online earnings. $70,000 that insiders say was hers, but never made it to her account. Every confession, every tear, every moment supposedly crafted for ratings came with strings she hadn't realized she was tied to. On screen, we saw drama and romance. Behind the scenes, sources suggest she was increasingly portrayed as erratic, her achievements minimized, her real personality edited away. Even Gino's responses, captured and reshaped, allegedly made him appear bewildered while hiding the network's role in orchestrating tension. The stakes kept rising, until finally, Jasmine reached her breaking point. She refused another contract extension. She refused to be edited into a story she didn't recognize as hers. And when the offer of a final payout came, she walked away, one-way ticket in hand, leaving everyone to wonder if anyone could have stopped her. Could TLC really erase her presence and pretend everything was normal? Could fans ever see the truth behind the cameras? What happens when a reality star takes control of her own story? Her departure left more than heartbreak. It left questions about control, loyalty, and the cost of fame. And the first shock was only the beginning. The financial betrayal and emotional manipulation that supposedly pushed her to this point are just the tip of the iceberg. What happens next might change how you see reality TV forever. Jasmine didn't just appear on our screens. She stormed in feisty, passionate, and unafraid to speak her mind. She quickly became one of the most talked about personalities in the 90-day Fiancé universe. Her energy was magnetic. Every argument, every laugh, every emotional breakdown made her impossible to ignore. Fans couldn't get enough. Social media buzzed with memes, comments, and theories about her next move. But behind the glittering lens, life was anything but easy. Reality TV fame is intoxicating. It promises validation, sponsorship deals, online followers, and a sense of power that can feel like magic. For Jasmine, the initial excitement was real. She was living the American dream, in front of millions, gaining exposure, partnerships, and a platform to show the world who she was, or at least who she wanted them to see. But that same spotlight comes with a hidden price. Cameras capture the moments you want to share, but production teams often capture the ones that get clicks, reshaping personalities into something more dramatic, more clickable, and more profitable. On screen, Jasmine's story looked like a roller coaster of romance and drama. Off screen, insiders say, it was a different kind of ride. Reshoots, long filming days, reminders of past arguments, and constant pressure to perform emotions for the camera. Every spontaneous fight she had on tape was allegedly nudged by producers, designed to keep viewers glued to the screen. The lines between her genuine feelings and TV-friendly conflict blurred, leaving her increasingly frustrated, exhausted, and questioning who she even was in the middle of the chaos. And then there was Gino. Was their relationship the genuine love story fans saw? Or was it shaped, amplified, and sometimes distorted for television? Was he ever fully aware of how much the cameras manipulated moments between them? Reports suggest even his reactions were sometimes edited, his confusion highlighted, while the network pushed Jasmine's emotional beats front and center. The chemistry, the arguments, the tears, they were real. But according to insiders, the way they were presented was not always hers. To control contracts complicated everything further. Did Jasmine fully understand the fine print about her image rights, online earnings, and what she could or couldn't claim? Allegedly, there were loopholes and clauses that allowed the network to profit from her likeness, sponsorships, and content she thought she had a stake in. Every confession she made, every tear she shed, every clip shared online could be monetized without her consent. The excitement of fame began to feel like a trap. The more visible she became, the more she felt monitored, manipulated, and powerless over her own story. Fans adored her. Sponsors lined up social media, celebrated her every moment. Yet behind the camera, Jasmine reportedly felt controlled and confined. And when she started realizing the financial exploitation she was allegedly facing, the $70,000 she might never see, the stakes became more than just emotional. They became deeply personal. How much of what we saw on TV was really Jasmine? How much of her life was shaped to serve clicks and contracts instead of her own happiness? What would it take for someone to finally walk away from it all? Her rise to fame was dazzling, but the trap of reality TV was already closing in. And what comes next is the moment when that trap snaps shut, leading her to the breaking point that would shock everyone. Jasmine's story wasn't just about fame or heartbreak. It was about being caught in a system that allegedly knew exactly how to push her buttons. Insiders suggest producers actively nudged her emotions, reminding her of old fights, replaying arguments, and strategically encouraging tears just before cameras rolled. Every outburst became content, every breakdown a scene, and every confession a clip that could go viral. On screen, it looked raw and spontaneous. Off screen, it was carefully curated chaos designed to keep viewers hooked. Jessica here from Reality Spots. Welcome back. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the drama, and tell me in the comments if you've ever felt like someone was controlling your story behind your back. Behaviorally, this kind of manipulation is exhausting. Imagine constantly being told how to feel, when to cry, when to smile, when to fight. Allegedly, this was Jasmine's daily routine. Even her smallest emotional moments became content fodder, edited and repackaged to heighten tension. What she experienced in private, joy, tenderness, genuine love for Gino, was minimized or erased to maximize on-screen spectacle. Every smile that could humanize her was allegedly replaced by clips emphasizing jealousy, impulsivity, or emotional volatility. The psychology is brutal. Repeated emotional manipulation can distort self-perception, leaving you doubting your instincts, questioning your relationships, and wondering if the story being told is even yours. Gino was reportedly caught in the same storm. While Jasmine's moments were amplified, insiders say his reactions were selectively presented, making him appear as the confused, innocent party while Jasmine's emotions dominated the narrative. Even his attempts to clarify situations could be cut or reshaped to heighten drama. This raised questions. How much of their story was authentic? And how much was edited to fit a profitable narrative? Amid all of this, open loops kept piling up. Did she understand the full weight of her contracts? Were the producers' strategies crossing ethical lines? How much control did she have over her own image, especially online, where branded deals and social posts could be monetized without her consent? Allegedly, the more she performed, the more revenue TLC earned from her likeness. While she remained powerless to claim what might have been hers, emotional labor turned financial exploitation. And the lines between genuine and fabricated blurred. By mid-2024, sources suggest Jasmine began feeling cornered. The excitement of fame and sponsorships was eclipsed by frustration, resentment, and a creeping sense that she was being used as a tool for ratings. Every argument with Gino, every tear, every confrontation became a must-watch moment in the network's eyes, even when it left her exhausted and drained. And yet, she stayed, because leaving meant forfeiting visibility, fan support, and the opportunities she had worked for. What happens when someone realizes they've been performing their own life for someone else's profit? Could Jasmine break free before it was too late? And how much more would TLC manipulate the story before the public saw the truth? The emotional manipulation set the stage for the next shocking twist: financial betrayal. Jasmine's growing awareness of unpaid earnings, hidden contracts, and missed revenue wasn't just frustrating, it became the tipping point, forcing her to confront the reality that her life and image were no longer fully hers. By the time spring of 2024 rolled around, Jasmine's frustration reportedly wasn't just emotional, it was financial. Allegedly, while she was delivering scene after scene of raw emotion, TLC was collecting revenue from her image, branded deals, digital shorts, and social content. Earnings that insiders say should have included her share, roughly $70,000, for someone who had poured her heart, tears, and every authentic moment into the show. Discovering that the money she thought was hers had allegedly vanished into the network's pockets felt like a betrayal on another level. Jessica here from Reality Spots. Welcome back. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below if you think a reality star should ever have to fight for their own money while giving everything on screen. On screen, Jasmine was fiery, passionate, sometimes volatile, everything fans loved and debated. Off screen, sources suggest she was facing contracts she hadn't fully understood, loopholes allowing TLC to claim ownership over her likeness, posts, and content. Every confession, tear, and sponsored appearance could allegedly be monetized without her consent. The very platform that promised fame and opportunity now seemed to trap her in a web of emotional and financial manipulation. The stakes weren't just monetary. Every time she confronted the network, insiders say she was met with silence, excuses, or claims that she misunderstood the contracts. Her sense of trust was eroding, her confidence shaken, and her autonomy stripped. Meanwhile, her relationship with Gino was caught in the middle on screen. Their interactions were edited to maximize drama. Off-screen, he reportedly had limited understanding of the financial disputes or the depth of the manipulation. She was increasingly alone in a system that profited from her story while sidelining her voice. Behaviorally, the situation is a textbook example of coercion via incentives. Fame, visibility, fan adoration, and sponsored deals kept her performing, even as she discovered she was being financially exploited. Allegedly, the more she delivered, the more the network profited and the less control she had. Imagine putting your heart on display for millions, only to realize someone else is cashing in while you're left with frustration and exhaustion. The emotional weight compounded the financial betrayal, creating a pressure cooker situation. How would anyone react to discovering they had worked for months, emotionally exposed themselves, and the platform profiting from their labor refused to pay what was owed? Could Jasmine keep performing while her sense of justice and dignity was slipping away? And what happens when fame becomes a gilded cage instead of a ladder? It was this realization, sources claim, that pushed Jasmine closer to the breaking point. Her next decisions, refusing contract extensions, rejecting final payout offers, and ultimately leaving America, weren't impulsive. They were calculated, born from months of frustration, exploitation, and the desire to reclaim autonomy. The $70,000 betrayal was more than money. It symbolized the way TLC allegedly controlled her narrative, her image, and her life. This financial awakening marked a turning point. The very network that built her fame was now the same one she had to defy to reclaim herself. And while the world was still seeing Jasmine's fiery arguments and emotional highs, a much larger story was brewing behind the camera, one that would redefine her journey and shock fans everywhere. By mid-2024, everything had come to a head. Jasmine reportedly reached her breaking point. Months of emotional manipulation, relentless filming, and the alleged $70,000 betrayal had piled up, creating a pressure she could no longer ignore. Sources say she refused TLC's request to sign a new contract for additional episodes. She turned down a final payout offer, choosing integrity over convenience. Every fiber of her being screamed that continuing with the show meant surrendering her story, her emotions, and her autonomy. Jessica here from Reality Spots. Welcome back. Hit subscribe because you're about to see how a reality star fights back. And comment below if you've ever felt trapped by someone else's control over your life. Walking away wasn't a simple decision. It meant leaving behind fame, sponsorships, and a fan base that adored her. It meant leaving Gino, her relationship constantly under the microscope, and the comforts of a life she had worked to build in America. But insiders claim she felt trapped in a narrative that wasn't hers. Every scene, every argument, every emotional moment had been repurposed to serve ratings. Every attempt to protect her image or assert her voice was allegedly met with silence or subtle retaliation. The decision to leave was, according to sources, deliberate and swift. She bought a one-way ticket back to Panama, packed her belongings in secret, and left a voicemail for a close friend explaining why she was gone. "They wanted to control me, my love life, my emotions, my image," she allegedly said. "But they cannot possess my soul. I'm heading home." Even those closest to her were reportedly shocked at how decisive and final her exit was. Fans noticed immediately. Her usual social media presence, full of humor, updates, and lively interactions, abruptly disappeared. Gino was left in the spotlight, reportedly devastated, holding on to old voice notes and memories as he tried to understand her sudden absence. The network scrambled to reframe the narrative, presenting her departure as impulsive or emotional, while allegedly hiding the financial and manipulative factors that drove her away. Behaviorally, Jasmine's actions demonstrate a profound assertion of autonomy. She prioritized her dignity and self-respect over fame and financial gain. It's a rare example in reality TV where a star chose to walk away rather than continue participating in a system that undermined her. Could anyone else in her position have done the same? How much did the network's manipulation contribute to the breakdown of her career in America? And what will the fallout be for Gino, the fans, and the industry itself? Now that she's taken control of her narrative? Her exit wasn't just dramatic. It was a statement. Allegedly, the financial exploitation, emotional manipulation, and control over her story left her no choice but to leave. The story fans saw on TV was only part of the truth. Behind the cameras, a system of control and coercion had been operating, and Jasmine finally broke free, taking with her the most valuable thing they couldn't control: her agency. The next chapter? Gino's struggle, the network's scramble, and a public increasingly aware that reality TV might be more scripted and manipulative than anyone imagined. After Jasmine walked away, the shockwaves hit Gino hard. Sources say he was left confused, desperate, and haunted by her sudden disappearance. Outside his Michigan home, paparazzi reportedly captured him scrolling through old messages and voice notes, holding back tears, replaying moments that now felt distorted or manipulated. What had seemed like spontaneous love on camera now appeared to him as a carefully controlled narrative, and he was left trying to piece together the reality behind the editing room. Jessica here from Reality Spots. Welcome back. Hit subscribe so you can stay with me as we uncover how the network allegedly tried to control not just Jasmine, but everyone connected to her story. Comment below if you think Gino deserved to know the full truth before she left. Meanwhile, insiders suggest TLC was scrambling behind the scenes. Jasmine's departure reportedly triggered panic. Producers allegedly began rewriting season finales, removing her appearances from promotional content, and recutting scenes to present her exit as impulsive or emotional rather than a stand against exploitation. Clips that could hint at the financial betrayal or manipulation were minimized or erased. They attempted to reframe the story so Gino appeared blindsided, innocent, and sympathetic, while Jasmine's perspective was sidelined The psychological pressure on Gino is significant. Allegedly, he was caught between the version of Jasmine fans saw on TV and the real person he loved, someone who felt manipulated and exploited. Being separated from her, under the constant watch of cameras and crew instructions, created a heightened sense of helplessness. Insiders say production even guided him to express confusion and heartbreak on camera, reinforcing the narrative that Jasmine had acted out of impulsivity rather than principle. At the same time, the ripple effect on Jasmine's social media and sponsorships began. Posts featuring her were allegedly deprioritized or deleted. Brand deals that once thrived started to vanish, and she seemed to be erased from the digital presence she had helped create. The network appeared to be sending a message. Stepping away comes with consequences. Fans noticed the sudden quiet, sparking curiosity, speculation, and growing concern about how much control the network had over the lives of its stars, how much of what Gino experienced was his choice, and how much was orchestrated for storylines. Could a star truly maintain personal agency under these pressures? And if the network can reshape narratives so easily, how much of the reality we see is actually manipulated? Jasmine's silence created more questions than answers. Support from other cast members reportedly started trickling in privately, with some sharing that they had experienced similar pressures, editing, or financial oversight. Fans began to connect the dots, questioning past storylines and inconsistencies. The public's awareness of behind-the-scenes manipulation was growing, and the network's usual control over perception was starting to slip. The stage was now set for the ultimate tension. A reality star asserting autonomy, a network scrambling to maintain control, and an audience slowly realizing the gap between on-screen drama and off-screen truth. What happens next would challenge everything fans believed about fame, manipulation, and the cost of reality TV.